Hello everyone and welcome to a new tutorial on blenderpedia.com. It's been a while that I posted my last video tutorial. It was all that I was very busy with my own project, the Golden Age 3D. But yeah, now I had some time left to spend some time on creating some architecture visualization. So for the fans of this, yeah, you can eat your heart out. It's pretty cool. And I'm going to explain the basics for creating a house like this. So on the left we have the final result. There are some glitches, like there are some speckles in this car, and that was because I forgot to turn on the cautions. No caution, I think. Light pads, no caustics. So you can avoid that. So if I zoom in, you can see some white dots. You can hide them, but it was around 30 minutes render time. I wanted to start this tutorial, so that's why. We're not going to create a car, and I'm not going really into the green stuff in the scene. I can explain how I did it, but if I go into that in detail, it spent me another hour. And I think to keep it short, we only look at the house, how I created it. So let's do that. I'm going into the scene. I'm going to close this window because we don't need it. So 3D. Wow. Here it is. I'm turning off the texture mode. So we go to solid. And I think it's also a good idea to hide the trees, put them in another layer. I don't know why I did that before. Also this green, nice bushes go away. Don't want to move the camera because we need that. And we put it in the third layer because there is also something in the second layer. We can move that to layer number 1. Pretty good. Another thing, if you heard some weird noises, that's because my neighbors are working on the house. They're drilling now for 3 weeks and it's kind of annoying, so sorry for that. They don't know I'm recording some videos here, so I can't help it. So what do we have here? This is the house. It's a very simple country house, villa, but yeah, it works pretty good. And I think it's kind of fun. Wanna turn off this purple stuff? You can do that when you go to the node editor and you go to the material. You can, when you create a node tree, something like this, I use the normal for it. And when you select normal, it's going up here as a purple color in the scene. So when we choose for the main texture and we go back, then it's disappeared. And I'm using 2 textures for this ground floor. Where is it? There you can see 2 textures. So what is this scene? You can see there is a backplate, but there is something else what I use for the color, and that is an environment textures. I bought a very good one on CG Skies. But I also have the low resolution. That one is for free. I'm going to put that on my website. But yeah, when you want to create a house like this, where do you start? And I also have a course on my website, and that's how to create a house. And in that one, I'm using the Boolean function to create holes in it. And the difference in this tutorial is that I'm working a little bit different, because there were a lot of people who told me, why are you using the Boolean function? There are other ways. That is right. I'm kind of lazy. Sometimes I just like that to work with that. So first of all, you need some inspiration. And because I'm working a lot with old medieval houses, I thought it was a fun idea to create something old in a modern setting. So in the 21st century age. So where I started was I created a cube, of course, and the shape of the house. So if you have a measure in your head, then that's great. So I had something like this. So again, I'm not going to recreate this house, but I'm going to explain a couple of steps, how you start and how to finish this whole thing to a cool end. Yeah, so this was the thing what I had in my mind to create. And then I started with this. So if you have the basic shape, and another thing to do, and it's very important, is turn on the, oh my god, I think it's jamming for a long time. Yeah, there we go. How was that called? Screencast? Yeah, there we go. Why isn't that enabled by default? I don't know. I always forgot it. So I'm turning that a little bit up. So when I turn G, yeah, so you can see what I'm doing. So we have the cube. I'm small the size a little bit and put it right there. So this should be okay. Another thing to share with you, it's not my point to let you create this house exactly as it is here. I want you to create something that you like, and you choose my working methods to use these tools. So if you have a house in your mind, go use it, go create it. Don't just copy everything I do. It's no problem to do, but it's better to do something what you like by yourself. Anyway, to start, I'm talking a lot, but I want you to don't do everything I just say. This is a very good start point. When you start and you have these hard kind of shapes, you can make them a little bit smooth by Control B, and you dragging this a little bit, just a little bit like this, and you scroll with your mouse, and then it's okay, and you have these nice smooth edges. You won't really see it, but sometimes it's just making that little finishing touch that you have, because in real life you don't have that sharp edges, so keep that in mind. So I'm making some lines, Control R, and that is because I want to cut some holes in this. So normally I'm using the Boolean, so then you create a cube and you're putting it into the house. I can show you how I'm doing that normally. I'm still doing that, but because a lot of people ask me to don't do that because I hate it and it's ruining my shape, and I understand, so this is not an option. So I'm creating some windows like this, and then I want to duplicate it like this, and I should make that in the edit mode. So I'm combining them, so they're all one object, and then I'm calling this holes, and you go to here and you use the Boolean function. Oh, I hate that drill, it's really annoying. Anyway, I'm choosing hole, right? Or it's already another name, holes, right? What the? Holes, yes. What the? It should be holes. Yeah, there it is. That's strange. And I'm using difference, and then I choose apply, and when I remove them, we have some sweet. Problem is that it is ruining the vertices because it's really messy. So this time we're doing it different. We're removing these. Oh, one step, yeah, removing it, and we have this cube. I'm already creating some horizontal lines, vertical lines right now. These are very important. Yeah, I can start creating some more if that is possible. No, I don't think this is possible anymore. So what I want to do is create something like this. Yes. So if you have more vertices, you have more choice for creating windows. I'm selecting these and these, and unfortunately I want to choose the middle one, but it's not possible right now. Yeah, maybe I have to subdivide it, then we have some problems right there. Well, I'm doing this again. Sorry for this confusing. I want to explain a lot, but then I forget to doing the right thing. Making it a bit smaller. Go there. Right, like this. Okay, should be good. I'm using this smooth function one time. Really? Alright, that's good. And now I want some more lines. I'll make that a little bit smaller. Just a little bit. like this, and go for around 10, I think. Should be good. And I want square size shapes, so don't make them rectangle looking. Let's make life a little bit easier. So now I'm doing it again. I'm starting with this window, and it's another window, and we have, oh, this is a big window. That's making it a little bit different than the other one. So something like this, and we have another window. This is going to be the door. It's a huge one. Oops, there we go. I'm just skipping this for now. Need some other stuff for that. I want to deselect that, and making them to the end. Just put them inwards, something like this. And we have also holes, and when we go to this mode, we keep the nice vertices. It's not really messy. But the problem with this is that you have to guess how to fill it with lines, so you came out perfectly with lines. So now I want to make that door, and I have to choose between a lot of things. So I create these lines, and when I go to this mode, Control Z, should put it right there. All right, and now, yes, I can choose for these. This is going to be the door, and we have to zoom in, deselect this one, select that one. That's pretty good, I think. And we can put it inwards. So now we have the first shapes of the house. And the next step is, of course, creating a texture on it. So when we go to the texture mode and have a look at this house, I choose for two different types of textures. The first one is that medieval looking brick. It's one of my own, so that one is for free. And this one is from CG Textures. It's another looking medieval brick, and it's a nice transition to the ground. So yeah, I like that. So I put it on. So yeah, you select. What I will do is select this one and the material. So I have the same material settings. You can see here. This is, I don't know what this is. Oh, this was an old texture. I can remove that. So this is the preview, and if we wait, yeah, and this is the brick one, and I put all kind of material settings on it like normal mapping. So what I want to do is, yeah, we select everything and pressing U and project from view. So we have this. So, and now I'm going to split my window. So on the left side, I can do some UV work. And on the right side, we have the end result. It's pretty good, right? All right. I want to start with these brown bricks. So I'm clicking assign. And now we have this. And this is called, what is it called? Wall red 2. Don't ask me why I use that word. Wall red 2. There it is. And we're stretching this a little bit, so until we think this is good. Something like that. All right, maybe a bit bigger. Okay, and yeah, don't ignore these metal strips. They are for a better construction, but yeah, this is a nice thing for variation on the walls. You won't really see it, that's just flat. So ignore it. So maybe it's a little problem because it's going into that window, but yeah, we can solve that later. Yeah, and now we do have to do the side walls. So I'm selecting these. So maybe you think, yeah, I'm used to another working method. That's okay. This is mine. I think it's fine to work this way, and I would like to share that with you. But if you have another working method, just use that. It's not really that this method is the best way. Of course, it isn't. I see that I forgot to make some lines in here. But yeah, no problem. I can use this one. Never mind. And I want them exactly the size from the front. And what I will do now is select everything, and I select these there. It's a little bit messy, but now it's good. And I'm making them exactly the same size. And when we go to texture mode, it should be good. So, and I don't like this transition, so maybe we have to do it like this. That's better. All right, so we have a nice looking rectangle shape with some holes in it. Later on, we will put some holes in the back of this, the sides of the building. But yeah, another thing is it's the roof thing texture. If you watch this, and this is a very important thing because it's the transition to the drain thing here. There's a drain on the sides. If you remove this different kind of texture, there is no nice or smooth transition, and that looks fake or not realistic. So to change that, and this is a trick that I'll use a lot, it's a pretty handy. As I'm selecting this side or even this one, yeah, why not? I'm just doing this. I'm rotating it, and maybe you think, oh my god, what are you doing? And I'm using that little point, and we go to the texture mode. You can see there is some nice, yeah, you can also see this line, but I managed out here, you won't really see that. And it's also a little bit of trying out different, that you moved a little bit, so you won't really see that transition. So anyway, so that is how I created this line. You can also do that with multiple textures and UV maps, but I figured out that it's a lot of work and it's not really satisfying me. So this is my way how I did it. Anyway, there's still a lot of stuff to do. One of the things is the different texture type here on the bottom. It's a very important one. I want to attach it on this texture. Maybe a cool thing to do is watch the node tree. It's a very simple thing. What I used is a normal map, and I used a glossy map. So to create a normal map, you go to Add, Factor, Normal Map. I'm using 1, and I'm changing that to non-colored data. If you use color, things appear black, and that's not really good. And the glossy, and I'm using this normal to put some glossy on the wall. A lot of people use a specular map. That's also a way, but I figure out that this also gives really nice results, so I'm going to use this. So I'm assigning it, and we go to the texture mode, and we already can see some breaks there, but we want to make them a little bit better. This is called gravel. No, this is what is the name of this one? Maybe when we go to texture, rounded. So if we type in rounded, there it is. There we go. And we're going to make that a little bit bigger. And it should be great. So again, what we can do with this is when we change to wall red, to make that transition again, I think we have to lower this a little bit, something like this, so we have a nice transition again. All right, pretty okay. The next thing to do is that create these before we start creating the windows, is these kind of frames. And yeah, I'm doing a little bit of it, and then you can do the rest. Control point or Alt Home. Wow. You create a cube. You start with this one, and you're making that smaller like this, and maybe a bit more smaller. And this is a kind of pattern I use. It's yeah, it's going straight, and with windows it's going down, down, up, down, down. So I'm going to show you how that works. So for this one, stressing this a little bit and doing it like this, and again like so. And oh, I think I have to change this to median point. All right, and when we are here, we do it again, and it needs to be almost the same as this side. Yeah, I think that works. As you can see, I made a mistake with the door, but yeah, I can't help it right now. What we can do is remove some vertices. Wow, this looks amazing, really. So we should go one further. Faces, yes, and we remove this vertice. All right. Yeah, all right. Anyway, and we go here, and you have to watch out to don't forget to make these square sized shapes. There we go, and one more. So there we go. Choosing this, and we go downwards again, a little bit like this, like so, and again, and we're putting it up, and you can see they're not really matching. So what you can do is choose this. Oh, and when you choose that, dragging this a little bit there, so I can live with this and putting it up. And now we have, if we drag this, making this smaller because I need my workspace, we're dragging this like to this one, like so. You have some nice shape, and we're doing the same with this one, and then it's enough. I can see this one is a bit too big. Dragging this down, and another down like this, like so. All right, there we go. Kaboom. That's okay. What you also can do, no, just dragging this inside. Nobody will ever see. Another thing what I like to do is create a little ornament, and the way I'm doing that is selecting these, go to the side, and extruding this a little bit, and scale it a little bit down, like so. So you have something coming out, and that gives a cool result. So you can fill it in for this one you choose. So, and another one, and go down. Go down. All right. And whatever you do, created something you like. I screwed up with the door, but I know you can do it way better than me. Another thing what I like to show you is how to create this pattern on the sides. So I create another cube like so, and we'll make that a little bit smaller, like this shape. And we're going to do something like this, yeah, whatever. And again, something so. And you think maybe, what is this all about? So these sides ornaments, am I going to this and using an array, and I want to go straight upwards with whoa, one. How hard is that? You can see they are not really good as I wanted them. Whoa, I'm a bit messy today. Don't know why. So I think it's okay. No, it's not good. It's dramatic. I want to make them a little bit bigger. So, pretty nice, right? Anyway, there we go. And we putting these right there. Sticking them also. Oh no, so this is good. I don't want them to pull them out. So I want that rough brown brick right there. So now we're making them like this. Maybe one more. No, I want 4 of them. 4. And that's good. We go to texture mode. Looks something like this. And yeah, you can duplicate it, putting it right there, making 2 more, something like this. If you want to create a hole in it, like I did here, so there's a thing, yeah, well, something that break it up. And then you duplicate it, you make just one of it, and you go up and you can put something right there. That's how I fix it. Texturing these, that's pretty nice. I found a texture that was pretty nice for this job. I'm combining that with this Control L material, and it's called, how is it called? Corner, wall corner. So if I type in corner, we have this one. And what I did was extruding this, scaling it a little bit up, like this. And then with these needs here, these are very important. What you're also gonna do is make it like this, but then you have a stretch texture. I think you don't want that. And this looks pretty good. So you can do the same with this one. So you call that Control L material, and you have the right material, and you're choosing that one. But if you do that with the first one, you don't have to texture all the other ones. So yeah, try it out. And I used this material for everything. So when I create something like that one, first we have to link the material. So we copy all the settings. We don't have to do it again and again and again. Project from view. This one has some little difference in the, like it has some shape coming out. And what you can do is fake it till you make it. You don't have to look for a texture that looks exactly like that. There is a transition. This one is brighter than that one. So if you do something like this, it looks great. So you can see it from here. Brighter, darker, perfect. You don't need anything else. Of course, it's all about creating it looking nice, but it's all up to you. I'm doing this in 40 minutes, so I have to go very quick how to use the techniques. It's up to you to make this looks great. And if you have a texture that looks way better, you're gonna use that one. So, but this is the quick way. So, and yeah, then we go to these sides. That one. And maybe we can deselect these guys. I'm pressing U, project from view, and you think, yeah, where can I place them? If you use this texture, you have these lines. You don't want that. And maybe you go left, but it's I think what I did, scale it up, because I was very lazy when I created this house. And I put them right there. And if we go to the texture mode, it looks like shit. Is there a oh yeah. What the? That's strange. All because that? But why do I have these? I don't get it. Maybe I had back of them. It's really strange, and now there is something coming out. Oh my god. Sorry. I'm sure you guys know better than me. I'm ruining sometimes my stuff. And I mean really ruining it. But it's all about the final image. If that looks great, it's good. So I think I like this. So when you put a window in, what you're gonna do next, it looks perfect. So don't waste your time on finishing it perfectly. When you go 20 meters away from it and you create a render and it looks still like nothing, yeah, you do it again, you make it better. But don't give you all the pain with making it looks so nice perfectly if you don't see it. So some people call me the worst modeler ever, but I can model very, very quick and make great scenes. That's why I work like this. I'll speed it up. Now you have that side wall, and to make that one looks great. That's an important thing. If you skip this, yeah, your render looks like shit. But I spent a little bit of time on this, and it looks good. So just do it. Another thing about that speed modeling, I think when you're working perfectly, or maybe 4 days on a house and you still think it doesn't work and you want to create big scenes, it's never gonna happen in your own. You need to be a little bit quick in your work method. And if you make that final render of a street where maybe 15 houses are standing there with some street furniture and trees, then you see, oh, that house, it's doing something weird, it's not looking what I want it to be. Then you change that, but now you just create it and ta-da, it's good. Anyway, I talk a lot. Add mesh. Where's my window add-on? It's moved. We go to user preference, window, and I hope it's in window generator 2. It's my best friend, I can tell you that. It's a really nice add-on. It is created for the internal, but it's doing its work great in cycles. So I created this window, and I'm sure you already worked with this one, so you know that we create one of it. There are 2 layers, so I fake it this one, so I hope there are still settings like this. And I don't know what this thing is. Yeah, 120. I guess. I'm not sure, but I think it's great. So when we go to the material, we don't want the gloss, and we really want to remove the marble, because I don't like, oh, the sill. Why is it calling marble? Oh, it's marble texture. So from now on, it's great. Oh wow, what is this? Oh, I like that extra detail, so we're using that. So we're moving it a little bit or so, and the settings are gone. I don't know why that is in Blender, but I don't like it at all. First thing what I like to do is removing the ugly window inside. That's always the first thing what I do. Vertices. So, and make this plastic. It's really black. Use nodes, make it white looking, or a little bit yellowish. PVC. I think it's called plastic. Yes, it's already applied. A little bit like this. Remove the gloss. It's the horrible gloss. See. Go to texture. What is this black thing? I think there's also ugly gloss in that one. Not gloss, but glass. Anyway, so we have a nice window frame, and if you watch this a little bit good, you can see this window looks different, and I created that by myself. But how can you do that? That's the question, right? I'm faking this a little bit again. Yeah. I'm pressing Shift D, and the strange thing is that this side is longer. I don't know why that is, but I think it's good by now. It's also separated. Really, really weird. P selected, and I'm Ping. I'm just pressing P. Rotating it 90%. This is really, really construction work. 90%. If this is weird looking, we're gonna change that, but I think it's gonna work. Trust me. Make it more nice and smooth. Same for that one. Yeah, the one is bigger. This is really, really weird. And I think that's because this side is longer than the other one. What I can do is add a mesh window and removing that one. I think, yeah, that's what I did in the original one. So we're going to remove the window again. Alright, man. And I want these super nice looking glass away. So there we go, and we're selecting that one, Shift D, pressing P, selection, so it's a selection by itself, rotating that 90, oh, I want you to go there, 90%. All right, there we go. And what we can do to make this integrating, well, we spent enough time on it, shift that side, and not good. I think it's good. And the rest of it is really simple. You create a mesh, a cube, making that small, not really big, but small. All right, and you're putting that there. I think it can be smaller. That's great. Shift D. I want to make the things look white, so this is great. Shift D again, making that 90%. Great. Making it smaller. That's great. Yeah. And going a little bit inside, or we start bringing this inside. Okay. This is a little bit, doesn't need to be overlapping. And I want to use an array for this one as well. Go to that one, array, 19, no, 15. Yeah, something like this should be good. You can make two more and point them exactly, so make them a little bit smaller so they have exactly the same measurement, like this, a little bit bigger. All right, and Shift D, and look what we have. It's a nice looking window. Did I forgot anything to share? Yeah, of course I did. We're gonna create the glass in it, mesh plane, and we're rotating that 90%. This is the glass, and the material I used is just glossy. I used over the year in cycles a lot of types of gloss, and I figure out that this one works the best, glossy. If you have an environment texture in your scene, you have very nice reflections. So you go here, oh, material, new, and you make this glossy. That's it, don't touch it anymore. And one thing is, why is this one popping out? I'm sure it's exactly the same one. Strange stuff. Really strange. Isn't this right? Weird. Anyway, so this is a window, and next thing to do is copy this window, go there, making it smaller. It's fitting perfectly. And you can also make it a little bit smaller. Fake that till you make it. Cool. And there we go. All right. Alt D, and we have another one. So Nice, right? 2 windows into the house. Render. How does it look like if we don't have sunlight? It looks horrible. I think sunlight is right there, and we put it in this one. So we're gonna make a render, and yeah, the environment. Oh yeah, there it is. There isn't a. If I go here, this is the downside of the environment texture. If we go here, we have some very nice reflections. Anyway, we're not done yet. So this was how I created the windows. There is more stuff to explain, like the roof. It's a very important thing. There are a lot of ways to create a roof. This is the one I choose. And that's making that a little bit smaller. I'm using that one for reference, and I'm stretching it a little bit. You don't want to touch the sides, so like this, and we put it right there. Cool. All right, and we're selecting that one and scaling that, and we just want to scale it more in this way, just like so, and we have a nice roof. How can I? Yeah, I used the Boolean for creating these windows, and I'm going to explain later why. First of all, yeah, what I also did was creating these lines to make that looks a little bit more detailed. Control B for some. No, what I want to do is to create that after. So something like this. We have some nice smooth edges, and now we create the lines, and with these lines we're gonna create a little something like this. And it's a small detail, but it works pretty good. And I forgot it. Lost detail, something like turn off scale that a little bit. So with something like this. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna link the material. Control L material. If I go to the first of all, we're pressing U, project from view. We go to texture mode. Yes, I'm hiding that one, and I think it's called roof. Yeah, it's roof, and scaling that value. And I think this is looking nice. Yeah, it's okay. And we need to select these sides as well. U, project from view, and scale that. Perfect. So pretty damn great. All right. These roof things, they are very easy to create. Mesh cube, and I'm scaling it a little bit. This size, a rectangle shape, I think, and then we're extruding it, making it like this. Make it a sharp, not too sharp roof, and then we have the first thing, and then I want to create some nice detail in it. And how I created that was selecting the front, and I'm hiding this because it's jamming my workspace. Pressing E, right? So like this. All right, pretty damn nice. And we go inside and scale that. So, all right, pretty good. And now we select that one, and put it inwards. Now we can put in a window frame, add mesh window, and we want that, making that 1, 1, 1, and make this 170, I think, yeah. All right, that's great. And we're gonna remove the gloss. It is so cool. Control L, verticals, and it's having the same settings as the other gloss. What I think I really like, so I don't have to copy that or reapply that. Now we have a measure problem. I'm not gonna scale that because the size is gonna be bigger than this one on top. But this will do pretty good. Yep, and we're bringing, oh, or is this thing just, yeah, it's really small. It's a small window. All right, same as that one, I created a cross. Well, I'm gonna duplicate that one. It's really easy. Create a cross like this. I'm not gonna model that because that's cost me a lot of time. I'm gonna move this one to there. Pretty good. And again, I'm creating, oh, I can just use that one, Shift D, making it smaller. And putting it right there. So, and yeah, no, nothing else. So we have this thing, and what I want is putting it on the roof. So one over here. Yes, and Alt D, one over there, and one more. Yes, pretty good. There was a problem with the roof because the roof was going into the window, and that looks pretty fake. And I wanted to create a hole in it, and that's why I used the boolean. Because in my opinion, this is the only way to fix that. But if there's another way, you're welcome to do that. Right. And they're gonna cut a hole in it. Yes, and you won't see the hole. It's just for fixing that, and need to be in the window. Same for that one. All right. So maybe we stretch this a little bit. Call this hole 2 because I think the hole 1 is still there. And we go to that one, and we go to the boolean hole 2, and make a difference and apply it, and it should be good now. So it's not going into it, but if we select that one, you can see there's a hole in it. In fact, it's realistic because there are holes in real life, but this was a very important thing to try out. So we have the roof things, and texturing it is, yeah, I use the same material setting as the roof. So one thing to do, because we have only to texture one of these roof. Oh, this is the main roof. I don't know why, but project from view. And when we go to texture mode, we can see what we're doing. I think I like it, but I want to make that so this is a straight line. That is good. And the sides, we have to do that as well. So project review, Now we're selecting everything to have the same measurement, and we scale that so we're not cheating. Texture modes. All right, pretty good. What you can do is to make a transition between the roof and this other thing. I don't know the right name for it right now. I tell you, if you learn the Dutch language, you have really trouble sometimes with English words. Anyway, you moving this right there, and you're putting it, scaling it down. Come on. It's a trick I'm using a lot, covering sharp edges. That's you're spending a lot of time creating something. Yeah, this looks good, and then it's just not fitting, and then you need to cheat a little bit. And I like it to cheat. All right, good. And we're moving that. Yes. Oh, and we're moving it here. Yeah, or maybe so. Once again, you have to fake it till you make it. And same material, Control L material, and we have that. You project review, and I'm using this side because that's a different color and it's matching pretty well. So if we go to texture mode, looks like this. Pretty good, right? Or not, it's your choice. And one more over there. So if we hit render, it should be, yeah, we have something like this. Yeah, the roof is really glossy in this viewport, but if you have that one, it looks okay, it looks better. If you have a problem with the wall, if you think this looks really not as I expected from a wall, and you can be right, it's a UV thing with the normal. So I'm experimenting a lot with that, and I'm not always sure how to fix it, but so I'm gonna explain. The downside is okay, but the top one looks awful. How can we fix that? I didn't discover it, but yeah, you can see, no, or is this just my? Yeah, this is weird. Maybe it's a normal problem. But yeah, I think it's fixed by now. What I'm doing is changing this, so it's not really glossy. Anyway, it's still a little bit dipshit. We can also just turn it off for right now, so we don't have this ugly problem. Give me a second. It's still really glossy. No. Diffuse, turn off that normal, go there. Yeah, well, it looks okay. But yeah, experiment with that, you can fix that easily. So we didn't texture this thing because it's cost me a lot of time, but you should put them more into the wall like this, because else it looks really not good. So alright, okay, then I forgot something to explain. Yeah, the doors may be important thing to understand. I choose a door from CG textures, and I think it's still as a background image. Yeah, so I created this door by just adding a cube. like so. And then I'm extruding this. And again, so I'm really making the shape of the door, because you get some more depth in it than just a plane. Well, you come away with it when you create a render far away from the house, but when you come closer, you can see you can see that it doesn't have any depth. And if you put a normal map on it, it works a little bit, but it's still not really good. Shift D, smaller size that. We select that one to that point. So, and turn it inside it. And turn that one up. We don't want holes in it. And the last one, plane. Turn that 90%. You know the workflow. So, I like this. Something like this. And put this inside. You can now go very inside it and creating these ornaments. That's what I did, but in fact it doesn't really help me out, so we're not gonna do that. But that's a trick what you can do. You can create that. I can go a short way it's a funny thing, because I'm here to explain things, not to say how I did it. I'm not gonna do the whole door. It spent me 30 minutes to create a nice pattern, and then I discovered it really not matter. But if you are 1 meter away from the door, I can imagine that a nice pattern will help. So something like this, I think, and with smaller this, and you bring it in like this, and make it smaller. Then you go till this point, you're extruding it. You're choosing these two and that one, square size, and you go up like this. And we're doing it again and selecting these and these and so forth. Like, you get that shape and you're putting it into it. And if I go to that one, you can see this door. You get this pattern. It looks really funny, but if you hit render, what we're gonna do, not crashing. Yeah, well, it helps a little bit. I also created this thing. So if you have a close render from this angle, everything looks pretty okay because I modeled everything. And if you use just a plane, it looks flat. But that's what I already explained to you. So door steps has a cube for every tree. I use a texture. That was a funny thing. If we go to the texture, it is pep. Oh, I have crazy names for this. That's a Dutch name. So for this one, it was a leaking texture where I made it a couple of years ago. It's low quality texture, but it works. Then I go to the next, I go one down, next one down, 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 and I make them every time a little bit bigger, so we have nice steps. Sure, there are different ways to organize this. We go to texture, there is some nice leaking thing going down, and this gives a funny result. So yeah, I think we discussed almost everything. We have these roof things. I use the same texture as the wall, and I created this one. It's very easy to create. I'm just saying, oh, it's very easy to create. You think, you create a shape? I don't know. It's just trial and error, and then you get everything you want. Anyway, smaller. You're selecting that one, go to that point. You're looking like, it's okay. Make it smaller, and then you go up, creating some funny things, so like this, and upsides. And this one goes a little bit down, and then you go inside. No, this one, ta-da! You get the same, identical. And you can even, if you like, do some magic, some Campbell magic, and use this one. Now you have some more smooth. You can do that by subdivision surface, but then you have thousands of vertices you don't want. Anyway, I used copper texture. It's inside my tutorial list with everything in. You also seen some grass. There is a tutorial on my YouTube or Blenderpedia website. It's going into that grass material. So it's really easy. It's called the house exterior, and then follow the grass one. And it's a 20 minutes tutorial. There is one very important thing to understand with grass. I create these flowers. I'm also going into the flowers. But to go back to the grass, in Blender 2.66, strands were introduced. So I worked with strands, I made some tutorials. Then in Blender 2.67, they changed the values of the strands. So if you follow my tutorial with the tutorial house, I used different values, I think 001. And then they changed it. Yeah, they changed it in 2.67. And it looks very tiny grass. And then I changed that to 1. And I choose a tip of 0.001. And then it was good again. So if you have weird looking grass, you have to change these values. The rest is okay, but this is really important thing. So yeah, that is the grass, how I created that. If we go back to the node editor and we look at our final image, so this is it. So that is the grass. It's a very simple thing with some yellow flowers. We also see some bushes, how I created that. Well, there is an application, it's called Arberu. I use it sometimes. I'm not a big fan anymore of it. There are better programs. But I create, there are some free sample trees in it. And I choose the quaking aspen. That's a tree. Then I go to the leaf settings and I change that to square size. Then I'm loading in my tree. There's also a tutorial in my website how to create trees, but I'm doing it short. Then I'm loading in my tree. The next thing I do is I'm cutting off the top of the tree. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. These are the trees. So in fact, this is the top of the tree, and I'm cutting it off. And I'm applying a material on it. If you go to the node editor, I think it's a big node tree. But that's because I use transparent image with some translucency and a glossy shader and some normal mapping. It looks like abracadabra. It is. You can also just use a transparent image, and then you can really move away everything, and you just get just moving that, you get a node tree looking like this. Very easy, almost the same result, but I like to experiment with all types of things, and but it's really not making any big sense to the quality of the image. So when we go back to the UV, our node editor, and we go to the final result. So then I cut off the tree and I put it in the grass, and it looks like a bush, and I think it's good. So I duplicate the bush here and there, and then we have this image. So did I forget something else? Yes, I want to explain something about environment pictures, because I'm tricking a little bit. And this is a very important thing, so just listen very good. You see reflection in the windows. And it took me a while to get this effect of clouds and blue sky. So when I go to this environment and I go to preview, you can see this image. It's from CG Skies, what I told you already. But there is also a free one. And yeah, you can download it and use it for your background. But then the background here was very, it doesn't look really good. You could just see blue sky, and I wanted to have some trees in the background. It's still not really matching because I didn't have any other picture, but that's why I used a different backplate in the background. And when I move that back to layer 1, I go here and go to the camera angle and go to texture. You can see it right there. There is some settings. I make that an emission, so it's casting light, so there are no shadows on this picture. You don't want that. But I can recommend to use another photo and try to match the color. So this picture was made in winter, so there are no leaves on the tree. These bushes have some green stuff, so it's not really matching. It's not a big deal because this is a tutorial. I'm just explaining how to create this building. But yeah, you can do that way better than me, I think. So yeah, one more thing I see here, I used a border for the grass. It's just a cube that I changed a little bit, but yeah, it's not really tutorial work. This is just a plane what I duplicated a couple of times. I subdivided it and used a graphite texture. I used a normal map for it, so that gives a little bit the ID, so it's there is some depth in it. Some people want to use a displacement so you can see every little brick. Don't do that, you won't really see it, and your render time is massive. So yeah, I think we're finally there. This is also an ornament. We can go there. I made a hole in the building, not with boolean, just with these lines, and then I selected this. I use the same texture as that one. It gives a nice effect. It's not really important, but if you make a lot of these kind of things, it makes your house way more beautiful. Two different types of textures. No, I already explained how to do that with the house, how to create this one and that one on top. So I'm not going to do that. You can see there is a UV problem, but from this angle you won't really see it. So I think we're there. I hope I explained enough. It's a lot of talking, and maybe you think from, whoa, that's too much for me. I think you can handle it. I can recommend to create your own house, and I'd like to see your results. Maybe I can give you some feedback. No problem to do that. So have fun. I hope you liked this tutorial, and I hope you watch other tutorials as well. And happy blending. See you later.